Hello dear students, welcome back. In this COVID-19 time period, Cbse has deducted the 30% of overall syllabus for upcoming board examination, as you all know. Therefore, we will start reproduction in organism, not control and coordination. Why? Because control and coordination is removed by Cbse for this year. Therefore, the reproduction in organism, this chapter contains up to 8 marks in your board examination. That's why you have to study this chapter thoroughly, as well as you have to study this chapter in a way that you are able to answer all the board examination questions. Now, we will start from, in the NCERT it is written that how organisms reproduce. No, the chapter is like that. So both have the same meaning, reproduction in organism or how reproduction takes place in any organism. At first we will discuss the introductory part of this chapter. Therefore you have to go through this video till end to understand the concept of reproduction. What is the process of reproduction? Reproduction is derived from two words, re and production. Production means to produce something. And in the reproduction, we are talking about the production of young ones, no, the production of child, or we can say that the production of offspring. Young ones को ही biology में offsprings कहते हैं, है ना, OFF offspring. तो offspring, that is new young ones which are produced after the process of reproduction. So, how we will define the process of reproduction? The process by which organism produces young ones similar to itself. The word similar to itself is very important. Why? Because the concept of reproduction is all about a particular species. An organism of particular species will reproduce and forms a new young ones and forms a new species similar to themselves. Therefore, how we will define the process of reproduction? Reproduction is a process by which organism produces young ones similar to itself, है ना, ऐसा प्रोसेस जिससे कोई भी ऑर्गेनिज्म, है ना, खुद के ऑफस्प्रिंग्स को, खुद के यंग वंस को प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, है ना, बट दैट यंग वंस आर सिमिलर टू देमसेल्व्स. What is the significance of reproduction? Why reproduction is very important process? Reproduction is important process because reproduction ensures continuity of a species. Without reproduction, all organisms will extinct out from this earth, no, but different organisms survive here on the earth because of process of reproduction. Without reproduction, we all will extinct. The species of cats will extinct, the species of human beings will extinct, but due to the process of reproduction, we all survive here. That means the continuity of a species is maintained by the process of reproduction, and this is the question of Cbse board examination 2015, that what is the significance of reproduction? In 1 mark it is there in the board examination paper. So what is the significance of reproduction? The significance of reproduction is that reproduction ensures continuity of a species. Species produces their young ones continuously. Why? Because of process of reproduction. So we will define reproduction as the production of new young ones or the production of new offsprings from the existing species similar to themselves, है ना. जो species पहले से अर्थ पे मौजूद है वही क्या करती है, reproduction करती है, and that species will form the new young ones, the new offsprings similar to themselves. And the significance of reproduction is continuity of a species. Only the process of reproduction is able to continue the several millions of species on this earth. And how reproduction takes place? So there are basically two modes of reproduction that you have studied earlier in the classes like 8th class. So there are two modes of reproduction. First is asexual mode and second is sexual mode. What is the difference between asexual and sexual mode of reproduction? We will study the differentiate like that we have to put this all concept thoroughly in our mind. No, we have to understood the concept. Afterwards we have to write it by ourselves only. No meaning of what we can say, no meaning of remembering all these. We have to understood the concept and we have to write it by ourselves only. Therefore watch it properly. Asexual and sexual mode of reproduction. In asexual mode of reproduction only one parent is required. asexual reproduction में सिर्फ एक ही parent चाहिए for the process of reproduction. But in the sexual reproduction two parents are required, है ना. इसमें मेल फीमेल का कोई कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है असेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन में. बट इन द सेक्सुअल मोड ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन देयर इज अ कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ मेल एंड फीमेल. देयरफॉर टू पेरेंट्स आर रिक्वायर्ड इन द सेक्सुअल मोड ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन, बट इन द असेक्सुअल मोड ओनली वन पेरेंट इज देयर. सेकेंड डिफरेंस, इन असेक्सुअल मोड नो गैमेट्स आर फॉर्म्ड. गैमेट्स नहीं बनते हैं. तो गैमेट्स नहीं बनते तो आखिर गैमेट्स हैं क्या? गैमेट्स आर द सेक्स सेल्स विच आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर रिप्रोडक्शन. गैमेट्स क्या है? गैमेट्स सेक्स सेल्स हैं जो कि रिप्रोडक्शन के लिए क्या है? इंपॉर्टेंट है. सेक्स सेल्स सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन में होता है. द मेल गैमेट इज योर स्पर्म एंड फीमेल गैमेट इज योर ओवम. बट स्पर्म एंड ओवम, this gametes concept is there only in the sexual reproduction, but no gametes are formed in asexual reproduction. Therefore the second point difference is no gametes are formed in asexual mode of reproduction, but gametes are formed in sexual mode of reproduction. Asexual mode of reproduction takes place in lower organism. What do you mean by the word lower organism? Lower organism means the organism which are less developed, no, underdeveloped organism, primitive organisms. Such organisms are said to be lower organism in the field of biology. Therefore we can say that asexual mode of reproduction is only takes place in lower category of organism, while sexual reproduction takes place in higher organism. No, sexual reproduction takes place in well developed organisms like human beings. The most important difference between the sexual and asexual mode of reproduction is this point. Variation does not occur in asexual mode of reproduction, while variation occurs in the sexual mode of reproduction. What do you mean by this term variation? Variation is the degree by which we are differ from our parents. हम अपने पेरेंट्स के जैसे तो हैं, लेकिन हम अपने पेरेंट के एग्जैक्ट कॉपी नहीं हैं, है ना. तो जिस डिग्री से हम अपने पेरेंट से अलग हैं, दैट डिग्री इज कॉल्ड वेरिएशन. उसको क्या कहते हैं? वेरिएशन कहते हैं. एंड वेरिएशन इज वेरी एसेंशियल फॉर सर्वाइवल. वेरिएशन क्या है? बहुत ही एसेंशियल है सर्वाइवल के लिए. वेरिएशन मतलब चेंजेस, है ना. तो हम अपने पेरेंट्स के जैसे लगते हैं, लेकिन हम अपने पेरेंट के एग्जैक्ट कॉपी हैं क्या? नहीं है. क्यों नहीं है? क्योंकि हमारे में कैसा रिप्रोडक्शन होता है? सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन. एंड इन सेक्सुअल मोड ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन वेरिएशन अकर्स, वेरिएशन होता है ना. लेकिन असेक्सुअल मोड ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन में वेरिएशन बिल्कुल नहीं होता है. ऑर्गेनिजम्स आर एग्जैक्ट कॉपी ऑफ देयर पेरेंट्स. Why variation is important? Variation is important for survival. हमारे में चेंजेज आएंगे तभी हम इस चेंजिंग इन्वायरमेंट में सर्वाइव कर पाएंगे. बिकॉज यू ऑल नो इन्वायरमेंट्स इज चेंजिंग कंटिन्यूअसली, है ना. हमारा जो इन्वायरमेंट है वो कंटिन्यूअसली चेंज कर रहा है. तो इस चेंजिंग इन्वायरमेंट में वेरिएशन होना बहुत ही ज्यादा जरूरी है. दैट्स व्हाई सेक्सुअल मोड ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन इज प्रेफर्ड ओवर असेक्सुअल मोड ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन, है ना. अब तुमसे अगर क्वेश्चन पूछा जाए कि सेक्सुअल मोड एंड असेक्सुअल मोड दोनों में से ज्यादा प्रेफरेंस किसको दिया जाता है और क्यों? इन स्पाइट सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन इज मोर कॉम्प्लेक्स, बट सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन इज प्रेफर्ड ओवर असेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन बिकॉज ऑफ दिस वेरिएशन. Because variation only takes place in the sexual mode of reproduction, while variation doesn't occur in asexual mode of reproduction. असेक्सुअल मोड ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन में जो भी ऑर्गेनिज्म बनते हैं वो अपने पेरेंट के एग्जैक्ट कॉपी होते हैं, है ना. एग्जैक्ट कॉपी मतलब वो 100% सिमिलर होते हैं अपने पेरेंट्स के, है ना. इस कारण उनको एक वर्ड दिया गया है, दैट वर्ड इज कॉल्ड क्लोन, है ना. CLONE. तो व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय द वर्ड क्लोन? क्लोन इज द ऑफस्प्रिंग फॉर्म्ड बाय असेक्सुअल मोड ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन. क्लोन एक ऐसा ऑफस्प्रिंग है जो किससे बना है? असेक्सुअल मोड ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन से बना है ना, जो कि पेरेंट के 100% सिमिलर है. Afterwards, what is the next point difference between asexual and sexual mode of reproduction? Asexual mode, there are several examples like amoeba, rose plant, yeast. These all are the lower category organisms. While in the sexual mode of reproduction, human beings, cats, cows, dog, etc. So this is the basic concept of reproduction, that is modes of reproduction. Either it is asexual or sexual. This chapter is going to be very important for your upcoming board exam. Why? Because this chapter consists up to 8 marks in the board examination. This chapter includes several concepts as well as proper diagrams, labelings also. Therefore, this is the introductory concept of reproduction. You have to go through this video twice for proper understanding. I hope that you all finish this video separately. Now, at the last of this video, I would like to ask you one question that you have to answer in the comment box. What is that? You have to answer more examples of asexual and sexual mode. That means you have to write three examples of each. You have to write 3 examples of asexual mode of reproduction and 3 examples of sexual reproduction in the comment box. Okay, thank you. That's all for this video.